Let's get down to business. I appreciate you you meeting up with me. So, I mean, let's talk about the elephant in the room with the coronavirus and whatnot. You know, I told you how weird it is here in Las Vegas. How is it over by you guys? I know you guys were one of the countries that were hit kind of the hardest. You guys still in lockdown?
Yeah, well, I mean, Germany was pretty good, well prepared for it, so it wasn't like a really big issue here. And I mean, I'm from Thuringia, which is a state of Germany that is actually there is just I don't know woods, forests, and you know we're a pretty hillbilly state, so there is not much going on. Even if there's a pandemic, nothing is happening here anyway.
Pretty rural.
So yeah, so pretty easy. I would say you realize as much of the pandemic in Thuringia as in I don't know, in a trailer park in Arizona or something, you know. So it's yeah. So life is still good.
Good. Yeah, you don't see it as much, or it hasn't affected as much as a bigger city like Las Vegas or I'm sure one of the bigger cities in Germany.
Exactly. I mean, you know, if it's a lockdown area anyway, a lockdown doesn't affect you that much.
Yeah. Well, how has it affected the band so far? Have you guys? I know you guys have some festival dates. Has any of the dates been affected so far?
Yeah, all of the dates are canceled. Like most of the festivals here in Europe, especially the bigger ones, they just change the date of the posters and try to bring the same lineup in 2021. And 2020, there won't be any festivals in continent like bigger ones. They're all canceled. So actually, you know, we had this live break for 2 years voluntarily, and now we have this mandatory live break as an encore. And we are keen to start again, but we don't know when. Like a racehorse,
as soon as you guys
waiting for the door to open, you know.
Yeah. We had a big festival here in Las Vegas that they just postponed till next year as well, and it was a pretty big metal festival here in America. And yeah, it's crazy. I think 2020 is going to be a pretty bad year for concerts, aka no concerts.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're a T-shirt collector and you have a tour shirt from a band from 2020, it's going to be a rare one in 10 years.
It is some weird times we're living in. So I saw that you guys were #1 in Germany, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And congratulations on that. And it seems like the album is really doing very well and has a great buzz about it. Compared to the last couple albums, how is this one doing?
I mean, the other albums were doing really good as well in at least in German-speaking parts of Europe. I mean, our last 2 records before, Truth and Sacrifice, were #2 and #3 in the charts, and this time we were a little bit more lucky, so we hit the 1. So they were also received very well. But I mean, as we had this live break and nobody didn't see anything of us, or and as it's a double album, of course, there's a bit more attention to it, you know. I can realize that. But yeah, I mean, we're a really big band in Germany, so people are always conscious about us. So it I don't know, it sounds arrogant, but it kind of feels normal that there's a lot of interviews, at least here in Germany. But I can say that for the rest of Europe, the not German-speaking parts of Europe and overseas, there is a lot more attention this time. I really have to admit that. Actually, I don't know why. Maybe because it's a double album. Maybe the artwork is even better than the previous ones. I don't know. So seems to be something to this album that attracts more attention than the previous ones. And I don't know why.
Well,
I mean, maybe the journalists have to find out about that.
I mean, maybe it's because of the documentary. I mean, just between having a double album and the documentary, I mean, it is just, I mean, it is huge. It is monumental. With the documentary, how did you guys come up with the idea of showing it in cinemas in Germany? I mean, that's a pretty big thing.
Yeah, but that was just actually we didn't plan it to be a film in the movies. We wanted to have it as a bonus, maybe for some streaming or as we did as a DVD for a deluxe edition box, or Blu-ray or something. But then I don't know, like this cinema chain came up and with the idea of showing the movie in cinemas, and that was a pretty big thing for us, a lot of big attention from a direction you usually don't get as a band. I mean, if you're not Metallica or Rammstein, it's pretty hard to bring your film to more than 100 German cinemas, and that was a really cool chance we got, and we took it, and it worked out really well. People received the movie very enthusiastic, and there is still demand. There is the big comeback of what you call it, like car movies, like cinemas where you go by car,
Oh, yeah, the drive-ins.
The drive-in movies, exactly. And they showed the film there now as well. Yeah, it's a really cool thing. I never dreamed about being in German cinemas.
Right. Yeah. It's a real nice feather in the cap. I can imagine. I wish America would get on board, but that's a whole different thing. With this documentary, I noticed that it's actually kind of hard to find here in America. When I went to order the album from my local record store, them being closed, but I ordered it online. It only gave me the regular version, and the only other version was like a box set through centurymedia.com, and even that looked like it was pre-order, and that's the only way to get the documentary. Is there is there, you said, is there another deluxe edition that will be coming out, or are you guys going to maybe eventually release it on YouTube? Obviously I want to watch it, but it's like I said, it's pretty difficult to get it.
We were talking with a few streaming portals. Maybe we make it available through that. So maybe like Amazon or something like that. Or if not, then sooner or later we bring it to YouTube. Of course. I mean, we just planned it as an extra, also to promote the record, of course, and to. The basic idea behind the documentary is that it's like a making of the record, but that is just the frame story. Within that frame, you come to know about Heaven Shall Burn, about the people in the band, where we come from, how we grew up, what we're doing, where we are headed, and so after you watch the movie, you hopefully know what Heaven Shall Burn is about, and how the new record was made. And that was the basic idea. And there was no like commercial plan behind doing the documentaries. So we either bring it to some streaming service where you can stream it for free if you're like a premium customer, or we bring it to YouTube. We'll see.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I might have to just find another copy somewhere with that, and then I bought 2 copies of your album. So even better
Great.
if I could find it. The Nuclear Assault cover, I wanted to go. That was it was a nice, pleasant surprise. You don't hear people playing Nuclear Assault too often. But when it comes to, I know the last few albums, you guys have done a lot of covers.
Yeah.
A lot of different genres and styles. You guys have a lot of influences between, hardcore and thrash and death metal. I was wondering, do some of the members prefer different styles and then you guys all come together? Like, do you have one person in a band that is more into death metal, one guy that's more into, say, hardcore, and then you guys all kind of come together and make what Heaven Shall Burn is? Or do you guys all just kind of listen to a little bit of everything?
Well, when it comes to the covers, we have so different covers from so many different directions because the tastes within the band are so different, But when it comes to the Heaven Shall Burn music, I write most or almost everything of the music, and our other guitarist Alex is the producer. So actually, just our musical preferences flow into the music, So there is no drummer or no bass player or no singer writing music in Heaven Shall Burn, So that's basically just Alex and me. But our influences are very, very widespread, like from very electronic music till, I don't know, the most chaotic noisecore you can think about. There is actually, we're listening to everything. The reason why we have so many covers is actually because when we start songwriting or recording, we usually start with arranging a cover song, just to come into the workflow, to get into the mood for the studio again and everything. So it's very nice to work on somebody else's song in that phase of a production. And if the cover comes out good enough, it survives and then will be on the record as well. That is what happened to the Nuclear Assault cover. That was actually an idea of our drummer Chris. He came up with the idea. And I always loved Nuclear Assault as well because they always had this, you know what I mean, this little punkish edge in their music, not that thrash metal straightforward perfection like Exodus, Slayer, or Testament or something like that. They always had this more Dan Lilker-like chaotic thing to it, and I always liked that a lot.
The last album, speaking about covers, the last album, you had a whole extra album of covers, and it was really a range of everything.
Yeah.
It's stuff that I've never heard of. It's stuff that you could bring attention to that people haven't heard of. Of course, I looked up all the the originals, and I'm a bit of a hardcore guy. Thrash as well. And the Marauder and Life of Agony covers. Those were very interesting.
Marauder is a great band. Great band.
I've seen them a couple of times back in New York when I lived there. Yeah, they were fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So some of these songs on the record, you have a double album, and it is pretty diverse. And I guess with a double album, that does help to be pretty diverse in the songs. But 2 songs seem to kind of stick out at me the most. And I guess it's a 2-part question, but La Resistance, that was an interesting little one. That was probably the most different song on the album, being I don't even know how to describe it, a little more electronic. I don't want to say dancey, but and then you had Chris from Lord of the Lost. He did vocals on The Sorrows of Victory, and he brought a little bit of a goth element into that song. And on the album, what were the ideas between both of those songs? Like I said, they were quite different from what you guys have done before.
Yeah, we always had like parts or riffs in the songs that were kind of like very electronic or dancey or something like that. We always had that in the past, but if you do a double record, of course, there's a lot more space for experiments, you know, and you dare to do a song that is totally out of the line, you know. You wouldn't do that if you have a track list with only 9 songs, you know. Maybe you wouldn't dare. Then the surprise would maybe just the riff or a part of the song and not an entire song, you know. And that was just we just wanted to follow our, you know, the electronic approach we showed on all our records. You know, we just wanted to go deeper into that. That was the thing with the electronic stuff, and with the gothic influence on the Sorrows of Victory. I don't know. We had this song beginning and these lyrics for it, and I was like, okay, if we get if we get like a true metal singer for that, then this is going to sound like, I don't know, Heart of Steel, like Manowar or something like that. And so we were thinking of a little different vibe for it. It should still be like have that Manowar cheesy kind of thing, but more like a gothic vibe, you know, like more I don't know, more a little bit more touching and pathetic, not in a fairy tale way, you know. So we thought, okay, maybe we would imagine if I don't know, Peter Steele or somebody like that would sing, and so we contacted
Yeah,
our
that can't happen.
friend Chris Harms. Yeah. So that was the main idea behind that, the Sorrows of Victory song beginning. And if we do not invite guests on the record in a way like, okay, let's think about who do we know and who brings most publicity and public attention to the record, and we invite these people, you know. That's not the way we're thinking about guests. Actually, we just invite people that can add something to the song we cannot add ourselves, you know, like a very complicated guitar solo we are not good enough to play, then we just call a friend and he does it. Or if there is this special vocal thing, our singer doesn't have the vibe to do that kind of stuff, then we invite a singer that sounds like that, you know. That is more the way we pick up people, and it doesn't matter if he's a million seller or an underground guy.
Right. You know, he could be a friend. It's just whatever you feel, you know, is right for the part, and who is right. The song came out great, especially these days with file sharing, and it's just so easy to, you know, get people to throw some guests on the record, and, you know, they might just be able to do it remotely and send it over to you. And like you said, you get whoever you feel is kind of best for the part.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's our approach to the whole thing. Yeah.
So going into the videos a little bit, you guys busted out a lot of videos for this album, and I guess that makes sense, and seeing as how you have so many songs. But I want to go back to the first one, because that was a long video. And you know, the first video you put out was for Protector and Weakness Leaving My Heart, and that was 2 songs on 2 sides of the record. I'm dating myself a little. It was 2 songs, yeah. And it pretty much it looked like 2 videos, but you combined them in one. What was the thought process behind doing that?
To be really honest, we couldn't decide what song we should release first, you know, and so we decided, okay, then let's release 2 songs at once on the same day, you know, because the first song, Protector, would be like a song that makes everybody happy, you know. Every Heaven Shall Burn fan would be happy about it, but a lot of people would think, okay, this totally sounds like Heaven Shall Burn, cool, but it sounds like Heaven Shall Burn. There's nothing new about it, you know. And the second song is very experimental, you know, to our what compared to what we did in the past. And that would maybe have been too much for the old fans, you know. So we decided to release both in once to just show how wide the record is, you know, to give people a clue of the variety, you know. The thing with the double video was, okay, it's a double record, so why not connect both videos together if we want to release them on the same day anyway, you know. And
Sure.
yeah, the director was happy with the idea, and of course, you know, record label and other people, they were always like, oh, you can't release like a 12-minute video, nobody will look for it, you know, people's attention span on the internet is maybe 2 minutes or something, and nobody will care about it. But we just said, yeah, fuck it, we just want to try it, you know. And it turned out pretty well, and people received it a lot better than the skeptics expected.
Well, I'm hoping metalheads are a little bit more open-minded and a little bit more passionate about the music and the band. So maybe we have a little bit more attention span than someone that just listens to 3-minute pop songs on the radio,
Yeah, yeah.
So another question I had, I've kind of wondered this for a long time. I know you got the name for your band, Heaven Shall Burn, from a Marduk album, but
Yeah.
do you ever feel the name of the band is a hindrance or doesn't fully represent what you guys are about? I tell people about this band and they have a preconceived notion and they obviously think you're Satan worshipers and all that. And it couldn't be further from the truth. Do you feel that the name sometimes messes people up a little with the perception of your band?
We feel that. I mean, it's just imagine you're going to the American embassy in Germany and you want to get work visa for a tour in the US, and your band name is Heaven Shall Burn, you know. If if you go to the wrong wrong counter there, then you're going to have a problem, you know. And that happens, you know. And of course, like, there are a lot of student radios in Salt Lake City that do not play our songs, you know, but they don't play a D side as well, you know. So who cares about it? I mean, it's not a problem in Europe at all, you know, maybe in Poland, but not really. And people can abstract like the artist thing. And I mean, we're an extreme metal band, you know, so, or at least to people that don't have so much contact with metal, we are an extreme band, you know. For a real metalhead, we are not an extreme metal band, you know, but like Cannibal Corpse or Black Dahlia Murder are extreme, but Heaven Shall Burn is still very melodic, you know. But you know what I mean. And it turns some heads sometimes, but also in a positive way. You know, some people listen to you and give you your attention, their attention, when they actually wouldn't if you were called, like, I don't know, Jew-centered or something like that. You know, yeah.
Right. A basic kind of name that has no. Yeah, I get that. I mean, maybe just Americans in general are just a little bit more. I don't know, maybe judgmental, or they're not as much as free thinkers as Europeans and whatnot. But I guess it's all I know, since I haven't been to. I've never been to Europe.
You should come to one of the festivals.
I am planning a trip next year. I'm hoping to do maybe a Scandinavian trip through a festival. Obviously, number one on my bucket list for my entire life is Wacken, but that sells out in like 2 seconds. So that sounds like it's a pretty difficult one to get to.
Yeah.
But on the topic of concerts, besides the festivals, and I've kind of looked back over the last few years, and it looks like you guys play a lot of festivals, but don't maybe tour as much. I mean, is there a reason for that? Do you guys stick to? I also noticed that you guys don't seem to play. Don't seem to play America. Are there any plans ever to come here to America and maybe do some tours, even in Europe or South America or whatnot?
Yeah, we're if you watch the documentary, you would know about why. It's just because we all have still have our ordinary jobs, you know.
That's
Like
what I.
many years ago, we decided to not be a totally professional band, you know, and because we're in the lucky position that we all love our jobs. You know, our singer is a nurse in hospital, and our drummer is a teacher, for example. You know, and
Wow.
our other guitarist Alex owns a studio and produces bands and stuff. And we love these jobs, and we didn't want to go out play 300 shows a year and just do full-time rock and roll. You know, that is for I always say it's for stupid people, you know, but you know what I mean. Um, I'm not saying rock and rollers are stupid, but it keeps you away from the ordinary life, you know, and maybe that is the reason why we have such a stable lineup, you know, and why we are still so creative and still hit the #1 record with our ninth record, you know, and because our ordinary lives, as I called it, they still give us inspiration and empowerment for making music, you know. But on the other hand, we can't tour like half a year, you know. So that is also difficult with American tours because usually you get offered like 2 month tour whole North America, you know, and we just can't do that. We once did the tour in 2008 for 2 weeks, I think, and we totally planned to come back, and we're gonna tour maybe 2 or 3 weeks or something, but not more, you know. And
Right. Right.
but the really crazy thing is the bigger the band gets here in Germany or in Europe, the easier it is to make it fit with your jobs, you know, because you're not the support band on tours anymore, you know, so you're the headliner on the tour, so you can tell the tour dates, you know, and you just have to play one festival to get the money. You actually needed to play 10 festivals back in the days, you know, and it's a lot easier. So the bigger the band gets, the easier it is to have a job as a hobby, you know. And
Oh, that makes sense. That's kind of win-win.
yeah. So and so we're pretty happy about that right now, and yeah, it works out for us. But so yeah, with the US, we totally want to go there, and there are so many people asking that we're on their bucket list, you know, and yeah, we definitely have to come again. But I can say it won't be like a full A and B market tour in America. We'll maybe tour like 2 or 3 weeks, and who wants to see us maybe has to travel, you know. So
It seems like it seems like metal festivals out here, festivals in general, do seem to be getting bigger, but a lot of it is more generic stuff, hard rock, a couple metal bands here and there. But
yeah,
we do have these like Maryland Death Fest, California Death Fest. So some of these festivals do seem to be a pretty decent size, and they're getting bigger. And we have another one here in Vegas that I talked to you earlier about that was postponed, called Psycho Fest, and it is quite a big festival. It takes over the whole Mandalay Bay Casino, 3 or 4 stages. So
mm.
maybe in the future, even if you just do some festivals out here, maybe that could be worth it for you guys. I'm sure it's got to be pretty difficult to tour America. And like you said, you can only do it for a couple of weeks. This country is so big, and plus I'm
Yeah.
sure the EVs, it doesn't sound like it's easy for bands to tour here.
Mm. Yeah, that's an issue, you know. But you know, we once decided that we won't be like a permanently touring band, and therefore it's. I mean, we've been to the US once in 2008, and since 2008 we've been to South America like 5 times touring. You know, that always worked out. But in the US, people demand like really, really long tours, you know, and that is an issue for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine. But hopefully, the festival scene here continues to expand, which hopefully in the future will make it a little easier, for you guys to maybe just come out and do a couple of gigs, and it'll be worth it money wise and time wise and all that. Yeah. But so I got one final question for you.
Yeah.
So you guys have been around 20 years. This is your 20th year, if I did the math right. What do you contribute to the longevity of this band? I mean, like you said, this is your 9th album. Just it's a monster. It's growing, and you guys been around for a long time and doing great stuff.
Yeah, as I said, it actually doesn't feel that long, and we also decided to not do that, anniversary thing, like a special anniversary release or a tour with this and that album played in its entirely or something like that. That always sounds like a band that just lives off the big deeds from yesterday, and has nothing new to say, So I think the biggest triumph for us is always that we have to bring out something new and that we can still top something from the past, That is what keeps us going. If we have the feeling, okay, we're just working for a 25th anniversary edition of this and that record, then we are on the way down, I think.
I get you. And, it keeps it fresh, and that makes perfect sense. Well, I will let you go. I appreciate you talking to me for this half hour.
Thank you very much. Was a very nice chat.
Bye. Take care. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.